Imagine you're in a Ferrari on the road, going 150 miles an hour, and suddenly... These are the soccer players who almost died. For Cristiano Ronaldo, just 3 days after buying his dream car, an accident changed his life forever. On January 8, 2009, it was an unusual morning for Ronaldo. Manchester had just suffered a bad loss in the last match, and his coach called for an early practice, so Ronaldo's teammates were counting on him to be there and improve their game. However, he was nowhere to be found. You see, Ronaldo overslept, and when he finally woke up, he saw all the missed notifications, so he immediately jumped out of bed. We all know Ronaldo takes his game seriously, so not showing up to practice on time was unacceptable. However, he only had 20 minutes to get across the city. There was one car in his garage that could get the job done. But little did he know that getting in that car would be the biggest mistake of his life. Damn, Ronaldo had just begun to make a name for himself, and everything was about to end before it even started. The fact that he came out of that accident in his wrecked Ferrari without a scratch was a miracle. It made him make his most important choice, to focus all of himself on the sport he loved, and realize his dream of becoming the best footballer of all time. But ironically, for Lionel Messi, this almost cost him his life back in 2017. Messi was about to play one of the biggest games of his career. Barcelona was going up against Juventus in a highly anticipated Champions League match. Juventus had already won the first leg 3-0, so Messi knew that if he didn't put in his best performance in that game, he and the team would lose any chance of winning the title. As soon as Messi stepped onto the field, he was prepared for anything, or at least that's what he thought throughout the first half. Both teams made a desperate push, their legacies were at stake, and whoever won would head to the semifinals. They battled it out with blood, sweat, and tears, but neither team was able to score a single point. Then, as the half was coming to a close, Messi made one last high-effort play, but it nearly cost him a lot more than just the game. Doctors realized that if he had landed just 2 millimeters higher, that neck injury would have killed him. So despite Barcelona losing that game, Messi was a very lucky man. However, most disasters happen off the field, like what happened to Matteo Silva. This man almost lost his life on vacation. Back in 2017, it was the 4th of July, the Independence Day of the United States, and Silva and his teammates wanted to go to Lake Tahoe and enjoy the beach life. Since it was the 4th of July, they knew the beach would be crowded, and they had a game later that day, so they planned to arrive extra early, around 6 a.m. Little did they know, things were about to get crazy, very quickly. The next morning, the boys got in the same car, turned on the radio at full volume, and went on their little road trip. As soon as they arrived at the beach, Silva was too excited and lost control. He saw the sand, the water, and couldn't help himself. Without thinking, he ran straight for the lake and dove in. It was a beautiful day, the sun reflecting on the lake, and Silva looked like Michael Phelps out there. The boys watched him swim all the way out to the buoys, but then, out of nowhere, it happened. Silva started screaming for help, and his friends thought he was just trolling them until he went under. Their hearts dropped, and they raced to the lake and jumped in after him, but by the time they reached Silva, it was too late. He wasn't breathing, and he had no pulse. So they had to swim to shore and act quickly. Luckily, a lifeguard came running to the rescue and tried giving CPR, but it didn't seem to work. There was no other choice. 2 days later, Silva woke up, but he was dazed and confused. It turned out he was in a coma. When he jumped into that lake that day, he was so excited that he didn't realize the water was freezing. His body went into shock as soon as he got in, causing his heart to stop. He's incredibly lucky his friends were there because they literally saved his life. After it was found out that Silva would recover, his teammate Chris Wondolowski paid respect to him in their next game wearing his number 38, and even scored a goal that night for him. Almost drowning is something that stays with you forever. But almost not making it to your first birthday for Neymar, that was his reality, and what happened in 1992 scarred him for life. In 1992, Neymar was only 4 months old when he, his father, and his mother were going to visit relatives. However, things turned deadly. Living in Brazil, the family was driving up the mountains when a strong storm hit out of nowhere. It was raining so heavily that they couldn't even see what was right in front of them. Then came the lights. The family got into an accident and everyone was hurt. Neymar's dad said a car came towards them and he tried to swerve, but it hit their car head-on the driver's side. Neymar was pinned underneath the driver's seat, covered in blood. His head was cut from a piece of glass and the family had no choice. They immediately rushed to the hospital. Neymar came face to face with death, and he wasn't even old enough to understand the words or know what was going on. When Neymar's dad found out that he was going to be okay, all he could do was thank God. From that point on, he knew Neymar was, in some way, blessed. As scary as Neymar's situation was, nothing compares to Angel Di Maria's. Some people not only wanted to hurt him, but also his family. Going into the 2021 season, everything seemed to be going great. PSG had started the season strongly and wanted to show everyone that they would continue to do so. In the match against Nantes, everything seemed to go right. They were leading 1-0, but then something strange happened. After the 62nd minute, all the phones started ringing, and suddenly Angel was replaced and escorted out of the stadium. What could have happened that led to a substitution in the middle of the game? His family was in danger. It seems that some criminals had been keeping an eye on Di Maria for some time. They knew he wouldn't be home because of the match, so they thought it was the right time to enter while his wife and 2 daughters were at home. The thieves ransacked the entire house, grabbing everything of value, including Angel's $600,000 jewelry collection. Then they fled, bank robbery style. The absurd thing is that this isn't the only time the Di Marias were robbed. The only choice left to his team, PSG, was to hire a security team to watch over the players all the time. And if you want to know other interesting stories from the world of football, watch this video.